Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's your old mate Beetle Dave. Just before I start this video, I want to say a massive thank you to everybody that is supporting the channel, leaving me likes, leaving me comments, uh, hitting the notification bell and things like that. You all mean the world to me. Now today, this isn't the video that I was going to do. I was looking for a record in my collection that I was going to do like a little special on, and believe it or not, I couldn't find it. But then I started looking through some of my White albums. As some of you might know, I've got quite a few White albums, 40 odd plus. Um, and I found one that's quite rare. So I'm going to show you a standard 1968 UK version first, and then I'll show you the next one, and we'll compare the differences. So if you're sitting comfortably, Beatle Dave will begin. He'll put his granddad glasses on. I can see you. So this came out in November of 1968. Everybody calls it the White Album, but it is officially called the Beatles. It's a 2 LP set. You could get it in mono and stereo, each of the originals in the UK, and I think in certain other countries of the world were all individually numbered, apparently. Although how many numbers of each there were is a bit strange. I mean, this one is a very, very low number. It's 0000320. Now, this has been featured on a video before, so I will just show you basically one of the albums. See, the spine is very, very normal, isn't it? That's a normal spine. Um, Now, on the majority of the White albums, especially the mono ones and the stereo ones, it will say an EMI recording 33 and a third, manufactured in the UK, and you get the sold in the UK and everything on it. So that's that bit there. Look, put it on the cut apple side, you'll see it better. That So that has got the made in the UK and an EMI recording. You might think, yeah, well, what does that mean, Dave? Well, at the minute, nothing. Bear with me, folks. Bear with me, folks. Mono copies, UK mono copies of the White Album they're not impossible to get, but they're usually quite expensive. To get one that's got everything in it, i.e. the photos and the posters and all that lot. I'm not going to get everything out on these. But yeah, that is the poster, and then you have got the photos there. So that in itself is quite a rare one because it's a very, very low number. As I was saying, I was looking for a record, and I was going through everything, and look, I was looking at a couple of my White albums, and I've got a couple that are like this, but I've to believe it or not, I've never really noticed this, but this one again, it's numbered 0157610. So this is a lot of a later copy than that one. The number is very, very faint, but this is what they call a wide spine. So that is the spine. So that's the spine of that one. See if we can get this right. So the one on the top, that one, is the bog standard one, and then the one on the bottom, that one is what they call the wide spine. Now look at the difference in them. Can you see the difference? That one is a hell of a lot wider. Obviously, that's why it's called a wide spine. Now, I don't know if over the mists of time, these have been mixed up or they've been put in the wrong jackets or whatever. It hasn't happened while I've had them put like that. What was I saying? Yeah, so, but there is also another difference with these. Yeah. Should have done this a bit more professional. It's not going to be a very, very long video. So on this one, although it's got a later, bigger number, this just says made in the UK, no EMI. On that side too, made in the UK, no EMI. See it just there. I don't know if the camera's picking that up or not. So these are, believe it or not, quite rare. Or so I've been told. What they're worth and how rare they are to me doesn't really matter, because these will never get sold. Well, not while I'm alive, anyway. What happens to them when I'm no longer here? To sue. So this is side 3. Again, manufactured in the UK, but no EMI recording. And on side 4, manufactured in the UK, but no EMI recording. So I think I'm right in saying this is what is actually classed as a first press. They're both first pressings, but this is the proper first press. I think when EMI realised that so many of these had come out and it didn't actually say an EMI recording on it, they had to change the labels slightly. Unfortunately, this is not in brilliant condition. It might look so on there. It plays okay. You know, there is some marks on it. It doesn't skip or jump, which is the main thing. You know, so you know when you play this, it's a very, what's the word I'm looking for, pleasant experience, because the White Album, just in case you're new to the channel and you don't know, is probably, well, it's not probably, it is my favourite Beatles album. Some people say, why is that your favourite and not Sergeant Pepper, or you know, something like that. Just again, I just compare the spine. So that's the wide spine, and it hasn't got the EMI records or EMI recording credit. That one is a lower number, this one, the bottom one, but that has got an EMI recording. So I don't know if that one's got the wrong records in it. I don't know. Yeah, so what's it worth? I don't know. Like I say, original UK mono Beatles White Albums are going up in price. Whether when this new mono box set comes out or not, I don't know if that's going to affect the price. Fantastic LP. There's that much different variety of songs on that LP. You know, you've got a bit of comedy, you've got a bit of reggae, you've got ballads, you've got love songs, you've got hard rock songs, you've even got a country song from Ringo, a child song, Good Night, you know, things like that. There's that amount of different sorts of music on there. George Harrison has got 4 of his best songs on there from when he was with the Beatles. They all shine as writers on it. Some of them are little snippets of songs as well, like Why Don't We Do It in the Road and things like that. So that is why it is one of my favourite albums. Now, as I say, what's it worth? Certain selling sites will say the one that hasn't got an EMI recording is the rarest, right? Which to a certain extent I agree. Please leave comments below. Others will say the one that's got the lower number is worth more. Now, to me, it doesn't matter. I just love collecting Beatles records. I did have a comment the other day where somebody says, why have you got so many copies of the same album? Well, this is a good example as well, because they look the same, but they're not. The contents, you know, the songs are the same. But like I say, one's got a wide spine, the other one hasn't. One's got an EMI recording on the label, and the other one hasn't. So there is slight differences. When you start comparing the monos to the stereo, especially the White Album, there's even more differences then. You know, there's completely different mixes of some of the songs. I'm a collector. I'm a record collector. I'm a Beatles fanatic. But I must admit this now, it's getting to the stage where I am not going to be buying as many records. Couple of reasons behind it. One, I've got the mono box set on pre-order, so that should be here next month, July, isn't it? Next month, so that's going to be here in July. I've still got the D'Agostini collection to go through. I've still got the History of Rock mini-series to go through. I've got all these Beatles albums behind me. Everything behind me now on those is all Beatles, believe it or not. So there's 18 racks there, or 18 cubes, and everything that is on that, where my record player and everything is on the back, that is like my Beatles corner. Everything on there is either Beatles or solo Beatles or Apple or Julian Lennon, or there's a little bit of Merseybeat in there as well. Um, and then there's things like room. I'm starting to run out of room a little bit. Uh, you know, the reason I was looking for this record yesterday was I was going to do a video on this record because one of the members of the band passed away earlier in the month, and I thought I'd do a little tribute thing. And I do know I've got this record, or I did have it, and this is the big bit. I know I did have it. Now, whether I gave it to Dennis or I took it to a charity shop when I did my purge a few weeks ago, I don't know. I do roughly know where everything is now. That's going to sound stupid, isn't it? You're a collector, and I used to have bits of my Beatles over there, bits of my Beatles over there, bits of my Beatles over here, because there's like another row of records in front of me now. Um, so all my Beatles stuff's together. Now I've just got. I mean, a lot of the '60s stuff is over there, which you can't see. So I've got like all of my Kinks, um, the Who, the Small Faces, and the Hollies. They're all in one cube over there. Then I've got like 70s and 80s stuff there. Uh, and then I've still got stuff that I've got to go through, and then depend on what I find when I'm looking through some of them, is to whether I'm going to keep those or again take them to a charity shop. Um, this is not negative saying I'm doing a purge and things like that. It's I want to concentrate on the things that I love and I'm going to play. Some people say, well, you've got 40 copies of the White Album, you're not going to play every one. I do. I don't play them all in one day. Um, but every Beatles record is played at some point. Same as my Kinks and my Rolling Stones and things like that. They all do get played. Might not get played lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of times, but they all do get played. The idea is to sort of like go through the things that I don't play very often, which is basically run of the mill stuff like Status Quo and things like that. Nothing wrong with Status Quo, by the way. I just know I've got uh, duplicate copies of certain of their albums, so things like that. UB40, things like that. Things that I don't very often play. Now, when I start going through them, because I did this when I did my purge, I went from originally I was going to get rid of over 2,000 LPs. There was rubbish in there, like classical music. Well, it's not rubbish, but it's stuff that I won't play. But some classical records can be worth lots of money. And then there was a lot of disco stuff and things like that, and a lot of Motown. And I was going to get rid of a lot. I was just going to box it all up and take it down to the local charity shop. Then when I started going through the Motown stuff, that started to bring back memories of my cousin, who was a big Motown fan. And even though I don't play the records very often, each of the LPs had songs on that reminded me of my cousin. And other members of my family that passed away and things like that. So for sentimental reasons, I took them back and put them back in the racks. Does that make sense? I bet we've all done this, if we're honest. Yeah, but I'm just trying to. I'm not going to get rid of all my records. I just need to trim it down a little bit. I've got to stop buying things that I don't really need. Um, One of the things on that is in the D'Agostini box set that I've got. There is 3 mint copies of the anthologies. So, anthology 1, 2, and 3. There is 3 mint copies in there. One's open, the other 2 are sealed. I've also got them at the back there. So, if this rumour about the anthologies being re-released on LPs at the end of the year is true, I probably won't be getting it. Probably won't be getting it. Not on vinyl anyway. I don't need it. If there's anything extra on it, I will probably get it on CD or something like that. It's not a criticism. If you haven't got the anthologies, it's a wonderful way to get it. Is for them to be release it. But if they're going to be remixed and things like that, I'd rather listen to them as I've got them. And like I say, I can get them on CD. Um, the one that I am still thinking about getting is the George Harrison one. Let me roll it. Let it roll. Sorry. Now I've heard a lot of criticism about that because somebody said, I can't remember who it was. They said that it's not a true LP because it's taken from a CD or a digital master. Well, wasn't the 2002 Beatles stereo box set taken off a digital master and not an analog master? I don't know. I've never had that one on LP, the George Harrison one. Now, a few years ago, I was going through a box of CDs, and that was one of them that I said could do with being released as a double album. And the other thing that I said, believe it or not, was that anthologies could do with being re-released at some point. So maybe Apple watch this channel. I don't know. That's it. So that's where we are. Just a little video. Like I say, it wasn't going to be the video I was going to make. I'll be honest with you now. The video even that I was going to make would have been a tribute to Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys, who sadly passed away at the beginning of the month. And I know I've got a copy of Pet Sound somewhere, but can I find it? Can I find it? I've got lots of Beach Boys LPs, but the majority of them are compilations. But I know I've got it somewhere. That's what I'm saying. So, it could be in a box in here, it could be in a box in the other room. I did move some records into another room as well. And like I say, there's some records downstairs as well. So I've just got to keep on looking. If not, I'll probably buy a reissue or something. So what's your thoughts on this on these two LPs here? Both the Beatles White Album, or the Beatles to give its official title for the purists out there. The Wide Spine, I would say, is probably the rarer of the two. But I think the Wide Spine is a later pressing than that one. So technically, the records out that should be in that one, I think, and vice versa. But I'm going to leave them out how they are. The other thing is, when the White Album originally came out, you got the poster, you got a top eight like these are, you got the black inners like these have got, then you got the four portraits, and then it's something called a spacer, right? In all my years of collecting Beatles records, which is coming up to 45 odd years now, I've been collecting Beatles records. I've never ever found a copy of the White Album with a spacer in it. And basically, it's a piece of paper. It's a piece of paper that you put between, like, the portraits. If you put them in, you put them in front of the one that's where the portrait is going to touch the cardboard. And I think you're supposed to put it in front of that. But I've never ever seen one. Whether they really exist or not, I don't know. So that's going to be it, folks. A bit of a strange little video for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Whatever you're doing today, please stay safe. It is absolutely muggy as anything in the UK. It's like I'm sat here, I'm sweating. The sun's not out. It's dull. It looks like it's going to rain, but there's no air. You can't get no air. My windows are wide open. I think I'm surprised you can't hear kids playing on the park, actually. Right, so that's going to be it. Honestly, this is it. So remember, Beatles Dave loves you all. Peace and love, and I will catch you on the next video. Any comments, please leave them below. Excuse me. And if you've liked this video, just do me a favour, leave me a thumbs up. And if you've not hit the notification button for any reason, I think something's gone off with YouTube just lately. I can check my analytics or whatever you call it, and hardly anybody is getting notifications to when I'm doing a new video. So if you're subscribed and you haven't hit that, please hit it. Make sure that it is working. And then I'm going to love you and leave you, as I've said. Whatever you're doing, peace, love, and happiness to you all. And as my mate, Beatles Vad'd say, I'm out of here. Hope you've enjoyed the video, folks. Bye.